if I can impress the client with good freehand drawings, and that always happens because most clients, they can't draw themselves. So it's a dirty trick, but it works, you know. Yes, I'm Thorbjörn Andersson. I'm a landscape architect, and I was always interested in public space, actually. So that's what I tried to get into from the beginning. The thing that I think is interesting about sketches is that you can trace down the conception of the project. It's at its purest somehow. The sketch is almost sacred somehow because it lays open the first idea. So it's very fragile and it's very pure and it's very hesitant. The sketch is different from drawing in a way, I realize. Drawing is a consumption thing. You know, I do it all the time and I throw it away. I don't save them really. I'm not a Taliban about pens. I don't care what. I have these little IKEA pens that you get for free, you know. To me, sketching and drawing is not very organized. But they're things for the memory and for the mind. And sometimes they become more organized, almost technical. And sometimes it's just, you know, very to remember something maybe. So they're sort of sloppy. Some of them are really rough. And I don't show them that often, actually. In the 80s, well, late 80s, we were told that, okay, here's something called CAD. Either you learn it or you're just out. You know, you will be lost. This is when the train leaves. And do you want to be on the train or not? It hasn't happened that, actually. It didn't develop that way. And also, some of the best architects and landscape architects that we have in Europe and in Sweden, my generation, they still work with a pencil, still work with sketches. And if you start the project with a CAD drawing, you'll get a much worse result, I think, because you need to have that precision already from the beginning, and that's why the sketch is sacred, as I said. The sketch, it's a test bed. It contains right or wrong. It contains different efforts, different alternatives. The freehand drawing to me is more still connected to idea work. I still feel that the people working in my office, many of them still, even if they're 30 years old, they work in early stages with freehand sketches. So that still seems to be the case. So history has proved somehow, or we have proved altogether, that these two things can be combined. They can exist side by side, and they both have their right of existence. So I think it's a matter of deciding when you are using the different techniques. Another myth, I would say, is that the skilled architect or landscape architect make a quick sketch preferably on a little paper, a little handkerchief or something, and then delivers it to the office, which develops this into something fantastic. But that doesn't work for me, and I think for most people it doesn't. We always try to be very tentative and searching in the beginning of the process, and then there might be this little handkerchief sketch, but that develops all the time into the very end, and even after the drawings. I think I beg, steal and borrow, and I try to look at artists. Sometimes we work with collages or different pens and different colors or no colors. I try to check out graphic art. I'm interested in graphic design, see what they're doing. Also check out other colleagues' works. What we do at the office now is that we combine all kinds of techniques. We might have a digital ground plane, which might be even an aerial photograph, and we make it fade out, and then we project it on the white screen, and we sketch on the white screen, and then we have another projector shooting with CAD on the screen and making a see a CAD drawing out of the combination of a photograph and a hand sketch on a whiteboard. So it's, and also with presentation sketches, we might have a SketchUp model, and we go in and put in the people and the trees and things by hand to make them more lively, and maybe turn them back to the computer and give color to it in the computer. What you need with a client, you need lots of things, but one is trust. You know, if the client trusts you, you get more freedom. But if I can impress the client with good freehand drawings, and that always happens because most clients, they can't draw themselves. So it's a dirty trick, but it works, you know. So if we could do some sketches early, preferably around the table while he is watching, and I'll, you know, taking over the shoulders and said, look here, why don't we do it this way? What do you think about this? That's a good point to get trust from the client. So if you don't have trust from the client, you get troubles all the way through, because they will question whatever you do. Try to write down 5 sentences about what you want to do before you sketch. So that will lead you into that. I know that Rem Koolhaas said this also at some occasion, because he began as a journalist. To write what you want to do is less frustrating because it's very open. Change a pen. Don't use a dull pen, not a sharp pen. You have to lose the precision somehow, I think, because what scares you is, oh, that's the line right there. It's very sharp and defined. So, and I'm not there yet with my mind. I want to make it move around a little bit. So, give yourself a time limit. Give yourself 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes, then you throw it away, or you put another layer on. Say, I'll give myself 2 more minutes. Try to refine what is underneath, and then a 3rd time, and a 4th time, and a 5th time. Another trick, which this is about, is don't use too big of a paper. Because if you use a really big paper, ooh, this is scary. What am I doing with this white postcard size? Because that doesn't give you the anguish and the fear of the horror vacui, you know.